All right, it is 7 o'clock. I will call to the January 4th meeting of the Amity City Council. If all would rise and join me for the flag. Thank you. We will start tonight with the swearing in of our new councilors. Tasha will do the honors. Okay, Dennis. Okay, you ready for this? Okay. I, Denis Saucier, do solemnly swear
I, Dennis Saucier, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the state of Oregon Constitution,
the state of Oregon Constitution,
and the ordinances of the city of Amity,
and the ordinances of the city of Amity.
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully perform all the duties of city councilor
perform all the duties of the council
of the city of Amity during my term in office.
of the city of Amity.
Congratulations. You may have a few.
Yeah.
You ready? I, Caleb, do solemnly swear
I, David, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the state of Oregon Constitution,
the state of Oregon Constitution,
and the ordinances of the city of Amity,
ordinance of the city,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and I will, my ability,
faithfully perform all the duties of city councilor
faithfully perform all the duties of the council
of the city of Amity during my term in office.
of the city of Amity during my office.
Congratulations. Yeah. Here. With that, we will move on to the roll call. Councilor Melissa Bojorquez, present. Councilor April Dyche,
Here via Zoom.
Councilor Sandy McArthur, and Councilor Denis Saucier, Councilor Caleb Shields,
Present.
and Mayor Rachel Beach. Thank you. We'll move right along to the consent agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda. Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please signify by saying no. We'll move into citizen comments and questions. This is an opportunity to put items not on the regular agenda. Please state your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes. We'll start tonight with the Yamhill County Sheriff's Office report.
Thank you, guys, and sorry I missed last month. That will not happen again, Mary. A couple things. November, I know you guys didn't get your November stats, or maybe you did, but I wasn't here to tell you. So November calls for service was 110 with 10 case numbers taken. A little different than this month. We had 165 calls for service and 15 case numbers taken. Really, what that allots to is that we had Deputy Vandenberg in here and he stopped a ton of cars, like a ton of cars. So there's the difference. With that, he pulled a couple additional case numbers because of those traffic stops. So it's pretty much the same. I spoke with Deputy Summers. He's been working on over the last couple of months, a couple city ordinance issues that should be going in front of the courts here probably next month or this month. And other than that, you're going to get your night shift deputy here starting by the end of next week, early of that following week. He'll be our night shift, and that'll be Deputy Alex Grant. And that's really all I got for the sheriff's office.
Any questions? Councilor?
I did have a question. We noticed that a lot of the numbers have gone down since last year, which is fantastic. I'm curious if you have any increase in why.
I mean, I can speculate. So the sheriff's assistant always puts out her annual like flow chart and stuff. So I haven't been able to get a chance to look at that yet. If I had to guess, it's more presence. When you get more presence, crime goes down. When you're stopping a lot more cars and stuff like that is in there, people see that you're around and you generally your numbers will lower. That's not uncommon when you get new people to come in, your case numbers kind of go up and then they level out and then you see that they start to go down as you hold people more accountable. And that would be that, but really until we can look at the hard facts, I'd have a better answer for you then.
Fine, perfect. Good enough.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then I'll ask for a due report.
Sorry, it was her or the groceries. I don't have really a lot to contribute here, except Eve has also given me some information, just a little bit of a recap on Christmas, the activities that they participated in, that we made the 300 goodie bags, but what's even better is the people that volunteered to assist, and it was kind of a fun party, but also we had 9 high school students that Alice brought over, and so Santa had, in lieu of a gift, wanted us to donate to the Amity elementary school lunch program. So we did that in his behalf for participating. And anyway, then the next thing that we think about is the Daffodil Festival. And I believe we'll have our next meeting at our regular dig meeting on Thursday at 5:30. The Thursday after the city council meeting is how we think about it. And so try to get some stakeholders involved in the schools and the elementary school in particular, and get going on the whole process. I have had some vendors and other people kind of interested, so I think it should be a fun gathering this year.
And is that this Thursday before?
This Thursday, the 12th, yes, at 5:30, and we'll request here for that if that doesn't work then. And so anyway, yeah, that's all I have.
Any questions for me?
Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other citizen comments or questions from the audience this evening? Let's see, with that, we'll move on to old business, of which there is none, and into new business, which is council president. So our city charter states that its first meeting each year, the council must elect a president from its membership. We'll do that to to nominate one motion for a council president for the year 2023. Nominate okay, we have a motion and a second to appoint April Dyche permanent council president for the next year. Is there any further discussion? Hey, Councilor Dyche, would you like to weigh your willingness to discuss or not before we vote?
That's fine.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And the opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes. Congratulations, Councilor Dyche will continue as our council president with this.
Thank you.
The next item of business is discussion on our goal setting session.
This one mainly Tasha, but I can take it. So every year after we get the survey back, if we were looking at January 23rd for survey completion, usually within a week or two after that, we set up the goal session for a goal setting session for the city. During that session, we go through, for those of you who have not been here before, we go through all the comments and the concerns and questions and complaints made through the survey. we look at what we've done the previous year, which is on the board here. We look at our success rate and what we wanted to do to what we've accomplished. And then we basically set new goals for the forthcoming year. And usually takes all day, we're providing lunch. But the big question is basically picking a date upon which all of you can agree to meet and do the goal setting. So we tentatively scheduled January 28th for that date. It can be a little bit earlier, like a week earlier, a week later. No, I can't. Sorry, it can't be a week earlier. Sorry. Can't be a week earlier because we don't have the survey back. But you could roll it one more week into February if you wanted to. So this point is kind of up to all of you to determine when you want to make that happen.
Yeah.
That's very, yeah, I was gonna say, like, check if anyone is positively unable to meet that day. I can make that.
And we would start at 8 a.m. and then last year we went to about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, we can know that one.
We usually block it till 4, but if we go long.
And we do provide breakfast.
Councilor Dyche, are you good with the 28th?
I am.
And then last year we had it at the fire hall. The year before that, we had it here, we have a plan for demolition.
It's a preference. I felt like the fire hall worked out better, it was more comfortable. Like,
One.
I can check with Jenny.
And they had this screen, which was.
That was nice.
That was, if you don't mind checking, I think either place would work.
Yeah, I can do that.
And if no one's opposed, I say we plan on February 14th.
That would be.
Oh, sorry, just look for an email with me, and then the next couple of weeks, I'll probably just like normally do like the bakery and stuff, but if you have anything else.
So it's decided on January 28th, 22, 8 a.m. fire hall, and then there was discussion previously, obviously open to the public,
Yes.
also inviting the planning commission. That's
I would like to expect that completion.
Do you want the planning commission there for the whole thing or more for the whole set?
Well, we'll have a baseline agenda, how it goes, so I think it's open invitation, letting them know that there's a new someone feels any portion.
I can do that.
But I think that hearing that feedback from the survey is really important. I think it's very enlightening. The responses to the paper. That decided the next agenda item is vacation and little look. And Michael asked that you give the rundown of this.
So actually, I don't think we have anybody that needs to roll over this year. Tasha got below 120 in vacancies. Sitting at about 115 or so, so I think we're actually good this year. But the agenda item for the record was to approve rollover of vacation time. For city employees who weren't able to burn it. The military used to call it use lose leave, so it's, they weren't able to use it, so they were gonna lose the leave, but you could roll it over for one for calendar year. Apparently they did good work down to under limits, so.
As it shows in the packet, this is just something I like to make sure that we stay on top of, because in the past, when there's been a couple hours here or there, it's really easy to say it's a logical decision to not take someone vacation time, but in our written policy, it has to be a vote of the council to approve that. And so I think it's important to keep the employees mindful of what the policy is, but also understand that we have a very small staff that is sometimes needs to make sacrifices of planning their own vacations just to do their jobs. So this one that needed, but that was. And then the last item is this, a new business is to appoint budget officer and approve proposed budget calendar. So we have the proposed budget calendar in front of us.
So the,
Other than what's here, is there any questions or?
We have two that are open. Then I have the flyer and I'll start advertising for it.
Only two.
It's,
Oh, I have, it's fine. Oh,
it's, no, I mean, it's five vacant or five positions and we have three filled for the 2-year term.
oh, I thought it was seven. It's fine.
I thought it was 7. I have it as 5 and then the council.
But we have two open. When I saw on the website, that's supposed to. And just so everyone in the audience or the questions themselves, if you're interested, we'll be looking for people to join the budget committee. It's really good insight into helping to see their priorities and see where things are going. We love that. And then, Mike, did you want to add?
no, there, the only thing is there's a motion for a budget officer and then you see the dates listed there for all the different meetings.
Yeah, there's no questions or concerns for me on here. I was.
And then the request I would comment was elected officers in fiscal year 20.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Michael Thomas as our budget officer for the fiscal year 2023-24 and approve the proposed budget calendar. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Anything else? We'll move on to the department reports. Let's start off with Mike. Their report was in the packet. Do you have anything to add?
I always do. I try not to, but I always do. So I have two things to add. First one was just kind of an update for the record and for the public of what happened with our sewer system over the last weekend. Council and mayor already here is aware that we had to do a sewer discharge into the Salt Creek, not fully treated sewer water to keep the sewers from overflowing, the sewer lagoons from overflowing to the excess capacity of the rain. Our guys, the DRC, which is our direct reporting guy who reports to the state, and our public works team spent the better part of Friday and Saturday, and then half the day on Sunday, managing the levels of the sewer water in the lagoons to ensure that they did not overflow and reach the levees or the dikes to keep all the water in there. We also ran our sewer plant at full blast for about 72 hours, pumped enough treated water through the system as well as the discharge to get the sewer level, lagoon levels down. DEQ was notified, the state was notified. They were all good with it, when that the discharge was the lesser of the two evils, the worst evil being we did nothing. And then we basically had an overflow of the sewer lagoons and eventually a dike break. So they were okay with it, but we are going to get a citation for basically a citation from the DEQ for the discharge of ill-treated, not fully treated water. And there could be a fine associated with that, but that's not been assessed yet because they haven't told us what it's going to look like. We are not the only city that has to do this from time to time, but in our case, our sewer capacity isn't good enough to, at this point, to handle large-scale rain events. So the expectation is if we have another large rain event like we did last year, the end of March, we may have to do this again. It's just until we can get the sewer system fully functional and improved with the improvements that are going to be next week. So that's what we were with the sewer. What were any questions?
Last time was
March of 2021 was the last time we did. I'm sorry, March of 2022, during the huge rain event last year. Was there a fine assessed then? No, not at that time, because we didn't have so much water and sewage, and they felt that we had properly advocated or whatever, and asked our intentions. Mayor King may have some additional information.
I don't want that event. I just want to bring up, because we had talked about this recently, and it's because our system gets so much water capacity into it that's not sewage from, straight draw untreated sewage. It's the storm drains, it's the leaks, it's those little bits and pieces everywhere add to that capacity of water that has to be treated as it is. And so until those walls are fixed or our capacity is bigger, it will be. And it's unfortunate, but I must say, my kid with all the PPP trains as Ms. Allen and our staff did everything they could, and I think that honesty and being upfront and contacting the state and contacting people will go far, because like you said, it was the least of the evils that were up there. So I have to commend them for her, and it's unfortunate that we're faced with those kinds of decisions.
We have a plan in place to alleviate that issue.
So over the
Sure,
last
it's possible, so.
I know, over the last year plus, we've been working on a wastewater facilities study, wastewater facility plan. And study, and so that will actually be presented to us next month. And it shows in detail what needs to be done to get us to where we should be, and into the future, capacity wise, and the work that needs to be done. Much like our very large water infrastructure projects that we've been working on, it's going to be large scale. And something that will need to be planned for, but all the work that's going into this plan and looking exactly where we sit and where we need to be will be presented, and then it will be council's up to us to figure out how to move forward in the best way to get to where we need to. So,
If I may add, it is going to be expensive. I won't steal their thunder for next month, but it could be, depending on what the council chooses to do, it could be fairly significant to make this system operate appropriate, to operate better and more efficiently for the next 10 or 20 years.
Well, is there, there's a plan in place that we can be into it? We can be aware of what that plan is.
Well, as you mentioned, we get they'll brief us as to all the different problems and potential fixes to our sewer system that are necessary. And they will give us a couple of different return courses of actions that we can take going forward. And then it will be up to council to basically pick which one they want to go forward with. And in that process, we'll have a dollar figure attached to it. If we say we want to go, let's say with course of action number 1, and it has that dollar tag attached to it, that will basically set what the engineering will be for that project. And then we will turn around and tell Keller and the engineers to start making that happen. Figure out what the engineering is, what the parts and pieces, the time frame, and we can start moving that process forward. But we would also need to get the funding from some funding source to pay for it.
So the accumulation of this long study and all this information will be presented at February's meeting.
So is that something that can be, does it have to be licensed people that perform all the work, somebody can volunteer?
Most likely we'll need state and federal funding that has very stringent guidelines on what needs to be done. And even aside from that, working on public infrastructure, that's what's going to require us, that we can't just say, have at it, please help us out. I would love that, but that's my understanding.
Yes, that is correct assessment. So, I mean, we do seek volunteers in the sense of having people clean their storm drains, keep the ditches and gullies in front of their properties clean and debris and blockages. That's kind of how you can volunteer to help. work with volunteers.
Any other additions?
Yes, ma'am, and since she's here, I'm gonna bring it up. So the single here has emailed out to me with a proposed template for a, I can pass this around to all of you, for a petition to try and get psilocybin banned permanently in the city of Amity at the 2024 election. And she asked for approval to do this, and I said the template that she provided is approved. How she laid it out and what she's seeking in the information. However, I didn't present you, I'm not sure if you saw the email, but it's incumbent upon her as a petitioner to figure out how she would make sure she's not getting 25 Mickey Mouse signatures, how many signatures she needs. And then we need to determine the cost as well. But Mayor King also brought up some comments, something to think about is whether, since we have in a previous meeting told her that we would consider this option if there was a petition. Mayor King wants to know if this would, to the council, if the petition is presented to us. Hopefully not missing your words here, but would it obligate the city to put this to the ballot or not, and how you want to go forward with that? So I'm going to kind of turn it back over to you.
Yeah, so Mike shared with me his response back to this single, and he said that because in our charter, we don't have, okay, if you want this to be an Amity to put something on the ballot, you do this and we're obligated to. Like, we don't have a set number. And so he said in those cases, we defer to the county or the state to give that number. My suggestion is that we needed to speak with the individual and ask, because when we presented the option and talked about the option of having a petition, it might just be a more informal way of showing the council how much community buy-in there is, rather than getting a state certified amount of signatures that forces the state of Amity to put it on the ballot. So it might be her intention that she said, look, I have 200 signatures, doesn't that show council and you guys? So I think that's important. I don't know of the legal statutory way that an individual could obligate the city of Amity to put that on the ballot, but there might be more stuff, right? But it might be, and I don't know if you want to see that, but if we're just seeking enough.
Well, that was basically my question when I first brought it up, when I heard that there would be an opportunity to show community interest in putting it on the ballot, that I just needed to gather some signatures. And so I just kind of did a little bit of research and pulled up a template that I formatted so that it would be particular to our city. I didn't know what else, to make you happy about making some sort of a decision about going forward with the ballot. So I'm happy with either way. You just tell me what I need to do and I'll be happy to do it.
So I personally can take some time to look into the state requirements, and if you want to and are willing to do that yourself.
Sure.
I don't know how council feels, but I think that an informal, because the signatures would be the same, whichever constitutes. This is a good start. We also have 2 years before the state comes in.
Right. I don't plan on starting until the weather's better for me.
And so the case of us needing to fall back on the state's mandatory, and if you were to go that route, and we're going to get a state certified and the state is obligated, they might have different timelines of when these are collected and how they're certified. And so that's not information we can give you. I don't want to lead you astray.
Right. And I understand that. And I was just going to start with Yamhill County.
Yeah, I recommended she start with the county clerk's office and see what their requirements are. I also brought up in my reply was that a lot of larger cities already have this process, a ballot initiative, public ballot initiative written into their charter, how this works. We are not one of those communities. So it's kind of a free for all, which is why they will defer to the county and or the state. And so the county said, well, it's not our choice, it's the city's choice, and it kind of, this is where Mayor King is like, well, then we should probably have a plan. What we're looking at, so.
If it came to us needing to instate an ordinance that would encompass any time this type of situation happen, that's not something that's out of the realm of possibility. But I think the best case scenario, because we have some time, is just keep communication open.
Okay,
As you learn and as we learn.
yes,
At this point, we won't be dedicating staff trying to try to figure it out.
right,
But
understand.
I'm more than happy to look for what he's thinking, especially knowing that you're gonna look for something.
Okay, and then the only thing I would need subsequent to that would be like city boundary map.
We can provide us a map of the city limits.
Okay, thank you so much.
And that is all I have is open for questions.
Any questions? Possibly not report your packet. I saw the public report. Thank you, Gary, and Public Works for providing that. I know that's an additional new task, but it was nice to see that. Are there any questions for Public Works? You know, why do they see here and then it's any questions on those? Okay, with that, we'll move on to business from the mayor and city councilors. Comments for the good of the order. Council President Dyche, do you have anything for us this evening?
Was that me? I'm sorry.
Yes. Do you have anything for the good of the order this evening?
The only thing I have is just to say welcome to the new council members, and we're glad to have you on board. City council doesn't take a large amount of time, but it's an important community service. It's 2 weeks a month and additional time for budget committees and goal settings, but it is 2 weeks a month. So that's important to remember, that it's not just this first Wednesday of the month. But we're excited to have you on board and look forward to working with you.
Any questions for Councilor? Councilor McArthur, do you have anything for the good of the order?
Just to welcome our new councilors.
Councilor Bojorquez, no business, welcome. And are we announcing the as well, or?
We do, but I thought you were going to announce it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was part of mine, if you wanna, no, I didn't know. Councilor Saucier, do you have anything for the ordinance? Councilor Shields? No. Is it your first time meeting? And then on the agenda, comments for the bit of the order vacant. So I'll start my mayor's report and final comments with what I alluded to. We have a vacant position currently on our council. Councilor Shields won both positions as invited in the previous November's election. And so because he can only fill one of those positions, officially after this meeting, we will open up that position for applications. We'll let that run until next meeting, February 1st. Thank you. So at our February 1st meeting, if we receive applications, the council will look at those and have a possibility to make this decision to appoint someone into that meeting. And I think we have applications. We have some back. So in addition to the opening of our budget committee, we also feel free to have an application for council who would want to have. One thing I wanted to share with council is today I got some correspondence from a community member that had some complaints about the utility work that had been going on around town. I know we have a few broadband and fiber optics subcontracting companies in pulling fiber and working on right of ways. And their concerns were there's just a lot of paint on the roads, some are getting in the yards, and the fact that the citizens in the city and this individual in particular doesn't feel like the city is doing enough to let citizens know what's going on. I let them know that that work should only be getting done in the easement and in the right of way. And so if we feel like they're doing work or trespassing on private property, please contact City Hall. You have the option to file formal complaints. But those subcontractors are working with franchise agreements through companies through the city of Amity, so that work is still happening. But I do think that we should brainstorm or think about how we can better let people know what's happening. It can be concerning when we just show up and everything falls through. Even if it's in the state right away, that can be done. Better, but not everyone uses Facebook. You could put it in the newsletter. Is there any other suggestions? And have you anything further complaints or?
Pretty common complaint. I work for the utility company. They just wash away. They're ugly, but they do wash away.
The paint and the look, yeah. And then it is you can have the boxes put in the right of way area. I think that a lot of people feel attachment to that basement part of their yard and it feels like yard. So maybe like we talked about, kind of promoting what's responsibilities of your ditch area and culverts and whatnot. We can talk about how these utility companies will be coming into this area.
I was really happy about it near me, you did put a box that we can drive on versus a tower that's very problematic, especially trying to back travel trailer.
Yeah. So I guess I just wanted to share that, and I think, you can all understand the frustration of when things are moving and not. No one tells you ahead of time, so if, we could work to, as a council, as we hear this from people, just let them know what's up, and then if we can kind of push that information to social media or get it in the newsletter, just so that people are. Are we able to?
City website. Yes, I can do it.
And then I just want to touch on, tomorrow, Councilor Bojorquez, Mike and I will be attending, LOC sponsored homelessness meeting in the city of Lorena. Tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. And so that will be good insight to different localities and the legal organizations insight into searching for solutions that best fit in rural areas and sometimes. The things that our citizens deal with, houseless or not, are a lot different than what you see in larger areas. So just talking about cities' rights, responsibilities, and people's rights, responsibilities. So we can share some of that at work session, but we learn and know. And then I wanted to give warning that the February meeting could be lengthy. We will have that presentation of the wastewater facilities plan, and then also I asked Mike to reach out to ODOT for an update on the Saucier Bridge project. He did, and ODOT has. They did confirm, right?
Reconfirm with them here.
That they'll be here to provide updates, have a question and answer. And so if you or from the community have questions ahead of time that we can get to them if we want, that's very helpful. I know this is another situation where there's some frustration around it, but I just want to remind all that like this is a working partnership. So by inviting them, I hope that it just promotes transparency of what is going on and we can work through things. Because we need a bridge and it's in, and until it's in, we're not driving across it, so. You can make the best of what we have, but I think that will be huge.
This year, we also have the sewer rate studies that will be presented, so we have three, essentially 4 presentations on February weeks. Gonna be a good one.
So yes, it will be a good informative. But also we have a town hall scheduled
Yes.
for the Wizards team.
Thank you.
Right.
Yes. Next Wednesday, in the work session, we'll be having a town hall.
Next Wednesday?
Following.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. The 18th, the third Wednesday in our regular work session. So if we could work to start promoting that, to the community. I know it was in the newsletter, but other. Six. Yes, 6 p.m. 6. Work sessions, our work sessions are normally held at 5, our calls historically have been held at 6, and council meetings are at 7. And if there's no questions, that's all I have for the good.
I forgot, but I'd like to thank Mayor Dean and Councilor Bojorquez for helping pursue us and second always. Much appreciated.
When the city survey goes out, it means hand stuff in almost 1,000 stuff. When a big task comes up and hands.
Yeah, sure. So what is their time frame that you're here? If somebody during the day and at time?
So it's 2 full-time officers, so 2 40 hours, and you're not on. So it does.
What do you have? Role is what they focus on, or was just determined by the department?
I think when they're here, that's an opportunity to let them know the concerns that we've heard or that we have or that we'd like to. That also can be brought up to money if you have suggestions.
I was just wondering if
Yeah.
that, if they have a role, what they're focusing on for the city.
They do. It's, and so the answer, to elaborate on our quick answer, they worked staggered shifts. We do have basically a day guy, which is Deputy Summers, and he drives the stealth mobile or the dark gray car. And as they mentioned, we're getting a permanent party night sheriff deputy. The night deputies' times are kept more confidential, just to keep things a little bit more, keep the criminals guessing. So we don't advertise the night shift times, but we do have a night and day time. Any gaps are filled by roving patrols. And as far as the goals, my goals have all and from the previous mayor and initially from Mayor King, the kind of just keep doing what we're doing, was to ensure public safety through traffic enforcement, drug enforcement, major property crimes, and then code enforcement. So
I apologize, I didn't bring it up when you was there, but it just needed.
So previously, when you sat on council, you were one of the public safety points of contact. So that's something during our goal setting section, but if you want to bring up and focus on like our contractor interaction with the sheriff's office, that would be a great thing to build in on, just to have some clear goals. I mean, we're within contract, but there is a lot of limitations when they look tonight for direction. And he looks to us, so it works out, it would be a good opportunity to dive into that. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, please signify by saying no. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for being here with us tonight.